Doing Bunka embroidery brings a calming, peaceful feeling. This art can be enjoyed by the experienced as well as the inexperienced needle crafter anytime and anywhere. The technique is simple. We will now begin to explain in detail the technique of doing Bunka embroidery. These are the Bunka working tools. Working tools needed are a working frame, a needle, a clipper, and tack. The canvas is pre-printed with the proper thread color number, which coincides with the enclosed numbered threads, which will make the color choice easy. First, let us put the work frame together. The working frame must be assembled with the corners meeting. If the working frame wiggles, you may use tape to hold the frame firmly. Next, let us put the canvas on the working frame. The design must be placed in the center of the work frame, and then tack on the 4 corners. Please be careful not to stretch the design out of conformity. Tack the top of the canvas first, then the bottom. Now tack the left side, and then do the right side. The tack should be placed about an inch apart. Let us test the tautness of the canvas by lightly tapping it. A slight drum tone tells you you have the correct tautness. Now we will fray the thread. Scratch the cut end and pull on the frayed end of the thread. Be careful not to overstretch the thread by removing the kinks. Overstretched threads cannot be used. Above is a properly frayed thread. The thread shown below is not properly frayed, 3/4 strands. When this happens, please snip the cut end and refray the thread to 2/4 strands. 3/4 strands cannot be used. Let us thread the needle. Insert the thread through the top round hole and through the eye of the needle from the grooved side, pulling about 10 inches of thread. Hold on to the end of the thread tautly, and this will cause the thread to fall into the back of the grooves. Let us take our first stitch. Push the needle through the canvas so the end of the thread passes through the back side of the canvas. Holding the needle like a pen, direct the groove side of the needle in the direction of the stitch. This will allow the thread to feed easily. The length of your stitch should be about 1/2 inch. Fray the thread only in the amount as needed. Do not overstretch the thread or wound the thread on the thread spool. As you become familiar with your stitching, the needle hole will face towards the left and proceed with your stitching. Sometimes the thread will work itself off the needle. We will do the following. When this happens, the tautness in the canvas is not tight enough, the thread is overstretched, or there may be tension applied. Either the thread is caught in the tack or your hand is pressing onto the thread. Now we are ready to begin. The running stitch is used for sky and sea. Make 1/4 to 2-inch long stitches, placing stitches close together so that the canvas will not show through. Stagger the position of the stitches so the needle position will not overlap. When stitching is completed, clip the end close to the canvas. Holding the clipper in the left hand will make it easier. Rose flower. Petals will be worked from the edge to the inside. Long and short stitches will be made, keeping the petal edge clean and to conformity. Second color to be blended into the first color using the same long and short stitches. Third color. Do the same as the first and second color blending. Padding stitch, used for peony, iris, etc. Make diagonal stitches in 3 to 4 layers, completing with final stitching. The leaf. Take diagonal stitches from the outside edge to the center line, taking long, short stitches, making sure that the outer edge is in conformity. Blending the colors will be done in the same way as the flower petals. The leaf veined will be worked in the center over the background colors. Now, let us try different designs. The bamboo and wisteria leaf. Make long stitches. For the pansy, cherry blossom, and buds, do in padding stitches. The thick layering effect gives the area a 3-dimensional look. For the pine leaves, complete the branch first, then work the pine leaves over the branch area. How to do the sceneries. Start with the furthest details. These are the sky, clouds, mountains, background trees, houses, and last the water, swans, and tree leaves. Now let us learn to do the small areas. For the water, do the background colors first. Detailing will be applied over to get the proper combination and effect using the one-stitch and snip method. Forest. Stitches should be taken from the outside edge of the tree or bush in the left to right direction. Tree leaves will be done over the background sky stitches. Branches must be completed, and then leaves will be done over the background stitches in a star stitch. Cedar. Work in the diagonal stitch. Tree moss. Also flower and bushes. Stitches to be made from the back of the canvas, leaving a loop stitch on the front. Finally, we will learn the fluffy stitch. There are two types of needles. For short loops, use a regular needle. For long loops, use a fluffy needle. The latter, when brushed, will give a long, hairy effect. Small red fox. Make a 1/16 inch long stitch. The fluffy design is printed on the back side of the material. Make the stitches close together so the canvas does not show through. Let's look at an incorrect example. The canvas is showing, which means the stitches are too long. Go over the area with more stitches. After the fluffy area has been completed, using Yamato glue, apply lightly over the flat side of the stitching. Avoid applying the glue onto the canvas. When the glue dries, brush the loops with an upward motion. Now insert the eye and stitch the nose. You are now ready to take the canvas off the working frame. Face the finished side down on the table and lay a piece of plywood on top. Apply Yamato glue on the edge of the plywood. We recommend that you use Yamato glue. Stretch the edge of the canvas tautly and fold it over the plywood. Be sure to stretch out any wrinkles. Cut off any excess material. Now we will insert it into the frame. This is the end of your Bunka embroidery process. Bunka embroidery can be very easily learned by anyone at any time. Why not try various Bunka embroideries and decorate your homes and offices?